Hey guys, and welcome back to What's the Obsession live stream and chat. Although we could be covering a number of things tonight, there's a lot going on in the true crime world. We're going to be talking about the Idaho 4 case, the updates, the latest information that's come out, the body cam videos, the whole enchilada without the taquito. And yeah, should be good. So nice to see you guys. I saw Mrs. B said, Kelly, glad you're back, or is it I am back? I haven't been gone. I've just been so busy with, I was in my day job. Hopefully the end of last week was the end of probably the busiest period. It was about a 3-week period of the entire year. And it was pretty crazy. So it's hard to do that and be a single mom and take care of my millions of bunnies and keep up the house and do YouTube as well. So I have lots of videos and material ready for you guys. I miss you guys. I'm always thinking about you and hope you're super well and safe. So first of all, just a little bit of news. So Letitia Stotch was found guilty on all counts, and she will be serving 2 life sentences without parole. So yay for justice in that regard. And I just starred Edward's comment because I thought it was kind of, as funny as we can get in true crime. We're talking about this. Edward says, hey, Kelly, Jody, and everyone. What I want to know is if Lori Vallow is watching the Letitia Stotch verdict coverage on an iPhone today. Very funny, Edward. I wonder if she is or was as well. Hopefully, if she was, she's horrified because she should be horrified. So, hey, Honey Bun, Capricious RT, Mary, so glad to see you. Midge, Edward, Mrs. B, Tony, hey, Tony, American Princess, Ara, thank you guys so much for being here. Moderators, members, just people that come hang out with us. It's great to see all of you. Midwest Girl 69, good evening. How are you doing? Francis the DJ, Jody is cool, Joan Bradley, and for anyone else who's just coming in, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. So just in the past week or so, there was a real lull in any real information or definitely anything that I would call news in the Idaho 4 case or anything regarding Bryan Kohberger's upcoming trial or what's going on towards being prepared to hopefully cinch a conviction for that man, because I personally think that he is guilty through and through. So our justice system says you are innocent until proven guilty. And I believe in our justice system, but I do believe that the evidence is stacked up against him. And in my opinion, unless I see something else that is compelling, just from a pedestrian standpoint, at this point, it's enough for me to feel that the man is guilty. So one thing that happened that probably many of you knew about was that Bryan Kohberger's attorneys subpoenaed silent roommate Bethany Funk to compel her appearance at the pre-trial hearing, citing her as a possible material witness, meaning a material witness is somebody who could really, could tip the scales of the case, basically. They have evidence that's that important that they could tip the scales of the case, guilty or exonerated, right? So she then clapped back with a motion to a motion to quash. I don't know where that came from, which is basically saying, no, that's not right. We're not going to do that for a number of reasons. We don't need to go into all the legal reasons for this one. This is a little bit of history now. This happened during the period when I was too busy to get any videos out. And what ultimately happened was the defense and the prosecution negotiated that the defense was going to interview her. So we will see what's going to happen there. Now, I put out a video a couple of days ago about the information that I had learned from the 2 guys that I've been in contact with since 10 days after this tragedy happened in the University of Idaho. So I don't want to go over the entire video during this live stream because I only have about an hour. And if you want to watch the video, it's only 23 minutes long. You can check it out. It's the last one I uploaded. But basically, there's 2 more videos coming out in that same theme of the one I just put out, because I think that they are correct in knowing what this is all about, meaning why Bryan Kohberger's attorneys or the defense team served a subpoena to Bethany Funk, who's been largely completely quiet and was barely mentioned in the probable cause affidavit at this time. So I guess stay tuned for a little more of that, because I haven't put any more parts of that video out yet, because I am passing it through our What's the Obsession legal consultant team to make sure I don't do anything or say anything that's out of turn. I don't want to do anything that's hurtful to anyone. I certainly don't want to get myself in any legal trouble, and I don't want to get these guys in any legal trouble either. Hey, Riddler3579, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Hey, Cactus Flower, how's it going? Hey, Jeff H, how are you doing? Oh my gosh. Let's see, Jeff H, I like that comment. It says, surely there's some DNA got in those bushy eyebrows. I mean, damn, they are bushy eyebrows, aren't they? There's got to be some DNA in those things, I'm saying. Hey, Denise McCarthy, how are you doing? So yeah, let us know where you're from, everybody. I always like to hear where people are from. Okay, so a couple of other things that happened recently is the Washington State University security unit released a couple of body cam, etc. videos, and you're going to see what I mean in a minute, that give us some insight into Bryan Kohberger, the person, or to what was going on in the case. So the first thing we're going to look at is some highly redacted video of when the search warrant was actually served. Now, that search warrant was actually served on December 30th, also my birthday, also the day that Bryan Kohberger was arrested across the country. So by the time the search warrant was served, it is my understanding that he had already been arrested. So it makes you wonder if this was kind of like the bonus search warrant and product of a search warrant. They already had enough on him to make that arrest. So when you add that all up, guys, geez, that's like, a lot of incriminating material against Bryan Kohberger, all moving towards the fact that I believe he's innocent. I'm innocent. Good Lord. Please, somebody strike that from the record, edit that out of the video. The man is guilty, in my opinion. All right, so let me bring this into the stream here. Oh, good question, Midwest Girl. I'll get back to that after we watch this. Good question. Or the charges against Bryan Kohberger and the public learning what happened in that investigation, since a lot of the documents and information has been sealed and or redacted. So just yesterday, we were able to see the body cam of Bryan Kohberger being pulled over for a traffic infraction just a month before the tragic murders of Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana. And then late yesterday, authorities released a heavily redacted video of them executing the search warrant of Bryan Kohberger's apartment. Something really interesting that is in another video separate from the one I just mentioned that was heavily redacted, was of an investigator talking about how they came to learn that Bryan Kohberger had a storage unit and what was found in that storage unit. So this is going to be a short video. I just want to get you the information. If you're watching this today on Friday, May the 5th, there's going to be a live stream this evening, and we can talk a lot more about this and other things going on. By the way, that live stream never happened for said reason. So if you're like, oh, darn, I missed it. No, you didn't. This is the first one I've done in a while. Case right now.
This body cam video released today was previously only seen by investigators looking into the murders of those 4 U of I students. Kohberger is awaiting trial in Moscow, facing 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary for those deaths. But that wasn't the only body cam video unveiled today. Abby Davis is here to break down the other video recorded after Kohberger was arrested while police officers went to search his apartment in Pullman. I understand, Abby, a lot of the video has been redacted, but what does it show us?
Well, Brian, we now know that police searched a storage unit right by Kohberger's apartment. Remember, Kohberger was a graduate student studying criminology. This new video and audio shed some light into the evidence collected for the case.
Police department search warrant, come to the door.
On December 30th, 2022, Washington State University police searched 28-year-old Bryan Kohberger's campus apartment.
Police department, show yourself.
The search happened just hours after Kohberger was arrested at his parents' house in Pennsylvania. Police sent KTVB body camera video.
All right. Sorry about that. It happens once a live stream. I just got a new computer. I told you I was using it tonight, but I have to set it up. I didn't do enough of the setup yet. So I'm going to be using it the next time because Double R, my friend, are you in here? Told me that when I get my new computer set up or if I fix something on this computer, which I said, forget about it, that won't happen anymore. But back to the show.
Kohberger is accused of murdering University of Idaho students Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez. The four were stabbed to death early in the morning, November 13th. A lot of the video is redacted, so you can't see what WSU police found inside the apartment. But Assistant Chief Don Daniels described finding a lock and keys during a phone conversation with Whitman County Judge Gary Leiby.
We found a padlock, round in shape, in the living room closet. Based on my training experience, I recognize the padlock to be the shape of locks typically used on storage units.
Daniels said one of the keys matched the padlock. That padlock led to the discovery of Kohberger's storage unit right by his apartment.
The storage door is not locked and the door is slightly ajar. I believe the storage unit or closet was likely used by Kohberger to store the items and likely access between the time of the murders and his travel to Pennsylvania, where he was later arrested.
During the call, Daniels listed pieces of evidence she believed could be in the storage unit.
Number one is blood or other bodily fluid or human tissue or skin cells or items with blood or other bodily or human tissue or skin cells on the items.
The judge then granted police a search warrant.
Okay, the court hereby finds there is probable cause to search the aforesaid described storage unit.
Here's a list of evidence taken from police searches that day. The list includes various household items, a glove, receipts, hair, and stained reddish-brown fabric. It's unclear whether any of the items were found in the storage unit. Kohberger's preliminary.
Okay, so you want to know, I would like to hear if anything stood out to you in that video. What really stood out to me was this. Let me just go back a little bit. This really just stood out to me. And for those of you who don't know, in my day job, I'm a behavioral therapist. So I, study behavior, verbal, nonverbal indicators and cues, and make a connection between what people do and the kind of person they are, essentially. So this said a lot to me.
To Pennsylvania, where he was later arrested.
During the call, Daniels listed pieces of evidence she believed could be in the storage unit.
Number one,
sorry,
to store the items.
Okay.
Unit or closet is not locked and the door.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, I didn't go back far enough. Right here.
That padlock led to the discovery of Kohberger's storage unit right by his apartment.
The storage door is not locked and the door is slightly ajar.
That's it. The storage door is not locked and the door is slightly ajar. That tells you that this is one cocky bastard we're dealing with, okay? So after committing a crime like that, and you're using a storage unit to hide evidence in large part, to then treat that storage unit that carelessly, that the door is not locked and the door is slightly ajar, to me, just reaffirms more of what we already know about this dude, that he is one cocky bastard. I mean, that is the only way that I can see this guy from everything that we know about him, from everything that we've learned about him, from all of the information or videos or attestments or anything at all. That is the overarching vibe that I get from this guy. Do any of you have anything to say about that? I'd love to know what you think. I just thought that was very interesting. Now, again, that was super highly redacted. It doesn't really tell us much. I think of all of that was released right there, the most interesting piece of information is what I just said, that door was unlocked and slightly ajar. Hey, Nancy S., how are you doing? So nice to see you. Let's see. So back a little bit. Let's see. Midwest Girl asks, Kelly, do you think this is going to the grand jury and that's why the state is not handing over the discovery information? So that is a really good question. Honestly, that would not have even occurred to me on my own if it were not for a conversation that I had with my friend Alex, who I call the What's the Obsession legal consultant these days, because he really is. He's really a friend of mine, though, and I just run everything by him, especially with the Idaho 4 stuff going on and the connection I have with the two Sig Chi fraternity students. I always have to be careful not to say their names. I just want to make sure I don't do anything to overstep my boundaries, to hurt anyone, to get them in trouble, or to get the channel in trouble. So we talk a lot about this. So he actually brought that up as a possibility because he felt that the way that some of the procedure was going down was not in line with what you would typically expect of charges, headed full force towards, straight to a trial. So that's really all that I can say about that. But I think it's a good question, and I'm definitely aware of that, and I would like to know more about it. And oh, good. Hey, Jeannie Ramsey. Hey, Validation Boy. And Jeannie Ramsey, I just got your text message. I forgot to do that. As soon as this is done, I will. I'm so sorry about that. I've just been trying to knock things out here. So, Validation Boy, the next thing we're going to take a look at, I think, is going to be of your interest. This validation just somebody, I don't even see him in here. If he's still here. Oh, it's Susan A. That's what I've been saying since it started about the grand jury. Is that what you're talking about? Ah, very good. Excellent. I mean, it makes total sense. It just, my mind didn't click right away, but as soon as I had talked to somebody about it, I think it's an absolute possibility. Do you have anything else to say about that, Midwest Girl? If you do, definitely let us know. Hey, Kathy Baker. Hey, Susan A. Let's see who else. And I said, Nancy, yes. Glenn Jam, I'm so happy you're here. It's great to see ya. All right. So the next thing I want to take a look at with you guys is the body cam footage from when Bryan Kohberger was pulled over by the Washington State Police by a female officer, which I thought was very interesting. I think this is why Validation Boy is here. And just kidding. We love you, Validation Boy. Well, I do. I don't know if everyone does, but I do. Hey, Speculation Station. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Hey, Cam Lacrosse. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you found the channel. That's awesome. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And now let's keep in mind, let's put this into context. When Bryan Kohberger was pulled over this time, we're about to watch, it was about a month before he was actually arrested. So I think it's very interesting to compare his demeanor and his initial reaction in this video to his demeanor and the initial reaction when he was pulled over when his dad was in the car, which was after these crimes were committed. And he certainly must have had a consciousness of guilt, that even as much of a, self-centered person as I believe him to be. Let's say like that, right? But let's take a look and listen, and please let me know what you think. See, pull this out here and present new one. I think this is very interesting. And I also think what is very interesting is to hear so much of his voice, which is an indicator of what we're going to take a look at next. But let's just start right here.
Hello, I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah. So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
You just get this for you out.
You what?
I'm just gonna get this out for you.
Okay.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck like in the intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done? Just
Now, first of all, I just want to say, he says in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck in that intersection, you have to make the left. I lived in Pennsylvania for 20 years, and there is no such law that says if you're stuck in an intersection, you have to make the left. He's just bullshitting his way through this. I mean, there's other things that I think are notable up until this point, but I just wanted to let you know that definitively that's bullshit.
You're not supposed to block an intersection like that in Washington. So just by you blocking the intersection, that's technically a ticketable violation. And then then you're running a red light. So it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go. Because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting, and then turns, and then you're blocking. So
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn. So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh,
Did you see that?
no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, like right before I made the turn, there was someone who like made a right. And they didn't have their, their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up. And not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation because you're either going to back up into somebody or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection.
Yeah.
There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines, like there's one white line and there's another one in front. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of place your vehicle.
Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you. Yeah.
Anything.
1 second. That looks good on a Hyundai. I don't see Pennsylvania registration like at all. Okay, let's see. Expires November 22nd or 2022. Okay. And
one of those is actually.
yeah, okay, that looks good. I'll hand that back to you. I'm just gonna go check your info. I'll try to find that RCW, the law for you, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right. Sierra 331, code 4 driver.
Go ahead.
Last of Kohberger, King, Ocean, Henry, Boy, Edward, Robert, George, Edward, Robert, first Brian, Boy, Robert, Young, Adam, Nora, middle C, Charles, date of birth 112194, Mount Washington.
George, you need to look at Adam looking for some parents on Adam, Robert, Young, Nora, because 1637. Sierra driver.
Go ahead.
Genesis license through Washington 11/2027. The vehicle is valid on a 2005 Hyundai Sonata.
Copy, it should be an Elantra.
Copy, it might be, it actually puts the dam, so it's my bad.
Sierra 334 stopping.
334.
King 568889 through Idaho. The stadium and Q parking lot.
1638.
Okay, so I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania where you go to find laws, but in Washington it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's basically it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection. To accommodate the vehicle he is operating without obstructing the passage of other vehicles, despite any traffic control signal indications to proceed. So you had a green light, so you're thinking you can go, but you're blocking the intersection. Yeah. So that's if you're ever curious in any laws in Washington, just Revised Code of Washington. So I'm not writing a ticket or anything like that today. I understand you're from Pennsylvania, but in the future, don't proceed through the intersection. You can't get stopped for that alone unless you can clearly just clear it right away.
Okay, so, as C-Star, and welcome C-Star, how are you doing, said, I bet that she regrets this now, not giving him a ticket, or, I bet she does too. I mean, not that a ticket would have stopped him necessarily from doing what he was doing, but maybe, that is kind of the point of legal consequences. If you're going to not be following the laws to like whatever degree, there's a consequence that causes you to think about making the same decision again. Now, are there some laws that I believe are out there ridiculous? And I would love to be breaking them all the time because I think they're stupid. Yes, but I know there's consequences. So if I'm, thinking, I think that law is stupid, I'm not going to follow that law. Well, you know what? I think twice about it. So, maybe if the same principle would apply at any level to this person who I don't believe has much of a conscience, he would somehow, reflect on what he was doing and think about his action. So what I'm reading about you or from you guys is very interesting that Riddler, brought this up about no driver shall enter an intersection or crosswalk or drive onto a railroad grade crossing unless there's sufficient space on the other side of the intersection. And then it goes on. I was trying to look up that code really quickly, but it's a little complex. My Pennsylvania code navigation skills are a little rusty. So, but, I believe you. He definitely did lie to this officer on several accounts. One time he did, I believe, tell the truth was when he said to the officer, oh, there aren't any crosswalks in the area or in Pennsylvania where I'm from. I was like, oh, bullshit. So I'm actually only 50 minutes from where he was arrested, from where he was from when he was in Pennsylvania. I'm in New York, but close to Pennsylvania. So I actually went and pulled up Google Earth in the neighborhood that he's from. You can actually, I think, spot his house. But that was one thing I do believe he was not lying about, was there really are no crosswalks. It's a very rural area, as he said. But still, I mean, that was just like a convenient truth for him, right? Yeah. Yeah. Right. I know. He's just so I just feel that his behavior here is just so pompous and arrogant. It goes along very much with what we were just talking about in the interview with the investigator after that small portion of the highly redacted search warrant execution. And she says the storage unit that he was storing all this stuff related to the crime in, the door was unlocked and ajar. Like, who does that, man? I just think that screams like arrogant bastard. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, cool. Nice. And welcome, Michelle Klotz. How are you? Michelle says, I'm in New York City as well, not far from the Poconos. My boss lives in the neighborhood, like next over from Bryan Kohberger. Yeah, it's, next time I head down Philadelphia way, I'm just going to literally drive through there. That would be kind of interesting. I can get some footage of where he's from if you guys are interested in that. I know exactly where it is. Oh my gosh. So the discussion that you guys are having about the grand jury, I think is very interesting. I do think it's a possibility. It's not going to ultimately, keep information from either side. It would just be a matter of determining when the information was revealed. There should be a video from storage. Yeah, I think there should be a video from storage, but I don't think that's going to be released right now. Even the video that was released from the search warrant execution of his apartment per se, not the storage portion of it, but the apartment the party lived in, you couldn't see anything. It was just so super heavily redacted. Yeah, Jeannie, maybe I can get pulled over on my next trip. I'm going to try that out. I definitely will not be pulling a Bryan Kohberger. I mean, just the way he starts out here when she first pulls him over and she says, you know why I pulled you over. Here.
Hello.
Officer.
I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of...
Okay, stop right there. How many of you get pulled over and the officer says, I think I know why I pulled you over. Da, 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 da. And then you say, well, actually, what happened? I'm sorry. I would never clap back with, well, actually, what happened? And I can't believe that after he spoke to her like that she didn't write him a ticket. I just can't believe it. Oh my gosh. I just can't believe it. Oh, let's see. So, nice to meet you. Can you get into his neighborhood? It's a gated community. Probably not. That's right. It is a gated community. Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't have any, inside way of getting into his community. I certainly wouldn't. I mean, if the gate was open, I'd go in, but I wouldn't try to, bring a crowbar and work my way in. That's a really good point. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. And Jeannie Ramsey says I would never. Yeah. That Glenn Jamin. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. When I watched this the first time and, a couple times after by myself, I was totally thinking that he's just gaslighting her. He is a gaslighter. And, I think for him, gaslighting worked to some degree. I mean, I don't know his life doesn't sound very desirable to me. He had a lot of problems, and obviously the way things ended up ultimately are absolutely horrific. But yeah, he is a gaslighter for sure. For sure. Now, something I thought was interesting. So you all maybe remember way back when, before he was arrested. Yeah, it was before he was arrested for sure. There was a video that was out that was highly circulated on Facebook of a person talking about the way they think this crime went down because they knew somebody who was in law enforcement. The video, is very detailed and graphic. It's a little hard to listen to. We are going to listen to part of it. So just know that it is hard to listen to. And from the first time I heard it, I think Double R brought it to us. Double R, you get a lot of shout outs. You're not here. I know you like those shout outs. Hope you're rewatching it. And hello to everybody who is rewatching the stream. I have felt convinced that the person speaking is, in fact, Bryan Kohberger. I tried to do a video analysis when we got a small, little, tiny excerpt of his voice when I think it was a Dateline came out when he called to get a haircut in Washington, and somehow the hairdresser had saved that voice message. It was so small. It really didn't make much of a comparison. But now we have him talking like an arrogant bastard trying to get his way out of a ticket, which he did. And we also have the Facebook video that was widely circulated before he was arrested that gave details about the crime that I believe to be true and that nobody would have necessarily known but the person who committed the crime. To this day, I stand by it. I think the person on the video is him. I'm only more convinced of that now that we have heard from him, seen other samples of his behavior, and heard more about him, and everything that I know about him tells me that he's an arrogant bastard. Only an arrogant bastard would do something like record a video talking about his own crime, circulate it on social media, and sit back, fold his arms, and give a little sly smile as he watches that video. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's exactly what happened. Kay Braze is with me. Well, of course, the video, yeah. Oh, wait. Ara asks, was this after the murders? Do you mean when he was pulled over? This video of him being pulled over was about a month before the murders. Oh, thank you. And of course, Jeannie already answered that because Jeannie knows everything because I love her and she does. So let's see if we can do a little voice comparison here. So what I'm going to do, I haven't made up like a video about it, a video, doing a smooth transition from one to the other. So I'm just going to have to go back from one video to the next, but I think you guys can deal with that. So let me play a little bit of that video that was widely circulated on social media before he was arrested. Obviously, it was after the murders happened. And this person, whoever it was, why don't you just hear from him yourself? One after another.
Hi, my name is Brian. Would you be able to give me a
Okay, so that was a haircut sample here. Okay.
haircut tomorrow by any chance?
Now, if the screen was recorded at 3:38 and the car sped by at 3:45, it's a very tight time frame.
So in just comparing those. Okay. I meant to grab the video that had a longer bit of him talking, but okay, let's listen to that little bit again. And then I'm going to go back to where Bryan Kohberger is talking when he's pulled over. You can see what you think. And I'm going to go grab the longer video here. Okay.
Yeah, haircut tomorrow by any chance?
Now, if the screen was recorded at 3:38 and the car sped by at 3:45, it's a very tight time frame.
And again, let's listen to the. Okay, so now I'm going to bring him actually talking into the stream. This is a little cumbersome, but we're going to give it a try, okay?
The intersection.
Yeah,
So
I was
forced
behind
to
you the
turn
whole
left.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Wait, I've got to get to the part where he talks for a bit here. Sorry.
Done.
Running a red light, so it's another ticketable offense. So
The confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn.
Mhm.
So I
Okay, so let's go with that.
Be able to give me a haircut tomorrow by any chance?
Now, if the screen was recorded at 3:38 and the car sped by at 3:45, it's a very tight time frame.
And again. All right, back to the one that we know is him. And then I'm going to pull that longer sample.
thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh,
Did you see that?
no. Mm-mm.
I feel like right before I made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their, their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up. And not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation because you're either going to back up into somebody or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection.
Yeah.
There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so
Mm-hmm.
where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines, like there's one white line and there's another one in front. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Okay, so we hear him yapping away now. Now I'm going to play a longer video sample of the widely circulated through social media video of a person talking about the crime. You know what? I'm just going to play the whole thing. You can hear what he says. I've always thought it was him. I still think it's him. What do you think? All right, so I'm going to pull that in. Okay, chilling. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Because at least two flash video, apparently, and it seems as though, I guess we'll just listen to what I said. I don't know. This recording is reported to be Bryan Kohberger himself. After the Watch the Obsession team and myself did some quick research, what we learned is this. At least 4 people who know Bryan Kohberger personally say that this sounds just like him, that they believe it is his voice. But the opinion is split because at least 2 people who know Bryan Kohberger personally in living color say that they do not believe it's his voice. You'll notice a couple minutes into this recording, Bryan Kohberger catches himself recording this audio/video, apparently, and it seems as though he is reading from a script. Now, the image of the person reading this script about the November 13th Idaho 4 tragedy is obscured, and we're going to need to take a look at whether or not that obscured image is in fact Bryan Kohberger or if it is someone else. Take a listen, watch carefully, and please leave a comment letting us know what you think.
Into the quadruple homicide in Idaho. I don't want to be any more specific than that because I don't want to put anybody in a challenging or contentious situation regarding their continued employment. And I will say what I'm about to tell you is secondhand, but it is from what I believe to be a very reliable source. Again, this can only be considered a rumor as I don't have firsthand knowledge. I never planned on posting any of this information out of respect for the victims' families. However, now that one of the victims' fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I'd like to share some of the investigative theory.
And now, guys, I think right there, I think that is completely material when he says, I was never going to share this information, but since the victim's fathers has released some of the gruesome details himself, I personally think that pissed him off because he wants to be in control of everything, including what details are released and when. And when Mr. Gonzalez went ahead and did that, that pissed him off. And this is part of the retribution. This is my theory, allegedly, Edward.
As you know, the two women were found in the same bed, but with similar wounds. That's what's being reported. That's not exactly 100% true, at least in regard to the fact that they hadn't fallen to sleep in the same bed. One of the victim's wounds were deep gouges that were delivered with extremely aggressive force, so much so that the victim's liver and lungs were destroyed.
I just want to point out this. I just read this comment. Those voices don't sound similar at all. There's half a dozen voices that people have sworn are Bryan. People want to connect him to random negative scenarios. It's disturbing. Listen, I agree with you on that statement, like the overall overarching statement. And this is the only one, one thing where I have just had this feeling for a lot, partly a gut feeling. And yes, we're allowed to have a sense of gut feeling or intuition when we're looking at true crime, but just also just listening to his voice, I've always believed it was him. On this channel, we do not try to make random connections all over the place just for the sake of doing that. In fact, everything that we put out is fact-based, or in this case, which this is, like I said, my gut feeling, my speculation, but it's just this feeling that I've had for a while. So I'm talking about it. I make that very clear. So I just wanted to acknowledge a comment and explain that. So, and welcome, Aaron.
The theory that's happening. They definitely think it was a man because of the force of the wounds. The person must have been strong, very strong. They think the man came into the room after doing what they did on the second floor. They went upstairs. The person cleanly and quietly unalived the first victim. The second victim awoke and tried to run. They believe that the man possibly grabbed her, and she screamed loudly. The man then harmed her, and the reason the wounds were of such force, he was delivering it quickly and forcibly to quiet her, which I apologize for how I know it's disturbing, but anyway, how do we know that she screamed?
Right, Ara, and exactly what you're saying here. Ara says, cleanly and quietly, come on. Exactly. I just think that the way that he's explaining things, the way he's explaining how things went down, and then also these adjectives describing the actions and the crime itself are in an extremely favorable light, perhaps one that a narcissistic murderer would describe his own actions in those terms. Okay, so let's see. Aaron says this Josco 1972 that created this video has already been proven not to be Bryan. Same guy posted another video as well, supposedly a brother of a victim's friend. If you could give me that information, I would love to see it, and I would be happy to tell everybody that that is the case. I have looked into this and I cannot find that. If you do have that information, please bring it here. We'll look at it right now, or you can email it to me at wattsobsession@gmail.com. I'm putting it in the chat right now, and I'd be happy to see that. I always say I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again, and I could be right now about things that I'm not sure if I'm correct on, and this could be one of them, but this is just something. So we'll listen to another moment of this, and then we'll go back to his voice on the body cam video.
Because 3 individuals reported hearing a scream between 3:45 and 4 o'clock. That's why the police have such a specific time frame as to when the murders occurred. Because I don't know if you noticed, but the authorities weren't called the next day until late in the morning. Yet they had a very specific time frame when the murder happened. They think the scream is why. And after reviewing video files from the neighborhood, they reviewed security cameras in the area, and they have an audio file I haven't heard it, but I was told that you can clearly hear a loud scream from a female. That scream was recorded at exactly 3:38 a.m.
Okay, here. So let's go over to him talking.
The best thing to do then would be back up. And not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation, because you're either going to back up into somebody.
Yeah. Crosswalk. So, where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh.
So even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one in front. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah. I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you. Yeah.
Anything.
One second. That looks.
Okay, so I don't know what you guys think. If you are interested in following this up more, there is a more scientific way to approach this. So to me, okay, so there's different parts of voice. There's rhythm, there's cadence, there's intonation, there's prosody. There's all these different, and this is something that is just discussed, I was going to say, and studied in behavioral analysis for statement analysis and just other verbal and non-verbal indicators of knowing if someone is being forthcoming with you or not. You look at all of these different components of somebody's voice, and there are actually scientific ways to measure rhythm, cadence, tone, prosody, all of these various things. So if it's something you are interested in, I would be happy to do a video trying to pull those qualities from each of the voice samples. If you're not, I'm not going to bother unless I get curious enough on my own. So definitely do let me know what you think and if that's something you're interested in. Hey, Majelka, if I said hello to you yet, I'm so happy you're here. And hey, Bridget B, how's it going? Hey, Lori Montalvo, how are you doing? Lori says, sounds like him. You know what I think? I think it does. Let's see. Hey, Elena, how are you? Elena McGee, welcome, friend, says, agree with you, it's him. I'm a voice. You know that I was just talking about then. I'm a voice teacher. My sense is yes. And his language, word choice are cheeky. He's a sneak. If it wasn't BK, then the guy would have been revealed or come forward. I am agreeing with everything that you were saying there. And that's so interesting that you're a voice teacher. That's very cool. I have a lot of teaching in my history myself. Hello, welcome, teacher. Thank you for what you do for your students. Now, are you sure what you're talking about, Bo? I agree with that. What might be going on in an open house, so to speak. I'm not going to pin it because, YouTube. Yeah. Okay. So here is a thing. So Midwest Girl 69 says, that's my biggest question. Why in the world did it take, 8 hours to call this in? Can't wait to get answers. Someone's lying about something. This is an extremely legitimate, valid question. It's a question. That's all that there is to it. Nobody, as far as I know, people can take kind of random stabs at the dark as to why this is. There's speculation nation out there as far as, people talking about what may have happened in this case goes. But we really don't know. It is very curious. It seems abnormal. It seems improbable. We just don't know the answer. In one of the videos I created about, talking about this issue, I just mentioned that there were all kinds of indicators in the environment for anybody that was in that house to know what happened. There were extreme smells, sights, sounds, anything that would hit your senses existed in that scenario to the extreme. And for people to sleep soundly right through that, or for this to go unnoticed for so long, I personally struggle with it. I don't understand it. At the same time, I do at this point think that both of the surviving victim or roommates are victims. I don't think they had anything to do with this crime whatsoever. I feel terrible for them. They're going to suffer from, some kind of, consequence of, being present when this happened for the rest of their lives. There's really no way around it from a psychological perspective. Hopefully they get some good therapy and they're able to heal to some degree, but this is like a wound that leaves a scar that does not fully heal. It's just, I feel confident in saying that. Nevertheless, how you can be in that environment with all these extreme everythings is really something that I personally cannot comprehend. Again, I'm not implying that they are guilty of anything because I don't think that they are. I just struggle to understand. Hello, Tony. How are you doing? Tony says prosecution are not releasing disclosure. There's a lot. As I was mentioning earlier on in the video, my friend Alec, who is the What's the Obsession channel legal consultant, was pointing out a lot of the things that are going down now in this kind of pre-trial phase are not happening as would normally be expected. And he's wondering why. Yeah. You know what? You stated this very well, Kanga Blue, and welcome. I was thinking something like this. I couldn't exactly put into these words. Very well stated here. Kanga Blue says he's wasting police time and resources with inquiries about information he could easily get for himself. Control freak. Yes. Selfish control freak. Agreed. Oh, yeah, that's right. And Ara is also a music teacher. That's right. My gosh. Did choir in my professional ears. It sounds almost like 100% him. I agree, Miss Ara. Maybe we should put together that video. I think I'm going to because I'm just interested in doing that. Oh, and Ara always asks. Ara is one of our wonderful channel moderators, as is Jody is cool and Jeannie Ramsey. And I know there's a couple of other of you in here. And thank you so much for being here. If you guys don't mind, all I ask is that you please click like. Just helps out the channel, helps to get notifications to more of our friends so they can come and chat with us. Thanks, guys. And C-Star says the difference is just the microphones. Yeah, there is definitely a noticeable difference in the audio quality of what is picking up the audio between that video that was circulated around Facebook and the body cam video. But if I actually do sit down and put the time into working up a video comparing the different voice qualities, an audio editor can work with that a little bit. And Elena McGee wants me to. She says, yes, pull qualities, how you analyze. All right. We'll do it. We'll do it. We're going to do it. Maybe R will help me out with that. And another, Tony says 8 hours. Yeah, it makes no sense. Hey, Sandy, is that an iron O? McP, I'm sorry. I can't see if that's an iron O. My eyes are blurry at this time of the evening. Welcome, though. I'm so glad you're here. So Sandy says, the Washington State University apartment, BK sent PD to pick up specific books, a box of receipts, computer screen component, and smart TV. After ISP search, curious. Huh. And this is a very good point. Glenn Jamin, always keeping it real, says we can't assign any value to the 8 hours without all of the information. And that is totally correct. That's why, I constantly am reminding people that, when we're talking about this, what I'm saying is not in implicating the surviving roommates of any guilt or wrongdoing. I do at this point believe that they are victims. Nevertheless, I can't help but have an uneasy feeling about it. But to make any kind of legitimate determination or judgment or conclusion, we do absolutely need more information. Good call, Glenn Jamin. Hey, Lulu Love, how are you doing? Welcome. And Susan A, also keeping it real, makes good points. Says, think about if someone pulled a body cam footage of you getting pulled over, some of us would probably look pretty weird. You know what? You're totally right. But I also think that the way we react to things when we are under pressure is revealing of our true nature, our true constitution. Actually, that's something that's known to be true. So, it's going to be to an extreme, but if we were to observe ourselves in moments of being under pressure, we would see a lot of truth about how we behave. I believe such is true with Bryan Kohberger in this case. Oh, okay. So J Lord, welcome J Lord. How are you doing? It says Kim canceled on the DTS last minute tonight. Who's DTS? I'm not sure. Oh, Drunk Turkey Show. Yeah. So, I don't even know if I want to get into that. So this person, Kim, and I've noticed. Just the other night, I was in somebody else's chat, and they were talking about this person, Kim, who's been calling into a lot of YouTube channels and saying that she knows all of these things about what went down that night. So it was actually her first initial appearances on some YouTube channels. And I didn't even know what the YouTube channels were when this first came to my attention. I think I know who they are now. But anyway, the two guys that I have been in communication with from the University of Idaho since 10 days after this tragedy happened, they've given me permission to let you know that they're both Sekai, Ethan's fraternity brothers. For a number of reasons, they had very strong feelings they were talking about with me and obviously amongst themselves and just feeling on their own. And they were not going to do anything that would put any kind of message out there or certainly say anything themselves, because they felt that they were held to they phrase it as being a gentleman's agreement by their fraternity and by the university and just the community in general, where people were basically agreeing on a gentleman or a ladies agreement to not go out and flap your gums about this case, because these are our fellow students, fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, just peers, human beings, whatever it may be. And so let's all do the right thing. And I think that you can see this is true as it is exemplified in the silence that has come largely from the University of Idaho community. And I think that's very commendable. What forced them or what caused them to say, you know what, we want to get the message out about what it is we know, because they were livid about, it was this Kim person who was the main person. It was a few other people. It was some buzz here and there, that they knew the information to be absolutely false. It enraged them. They felt as though it was extremely disrespectful to Ethan and the other victims and Ethan's family, who are just wonderful people, by the way. And for that reason, they wanted to get their message of truth out there. They will be talking in their own voices at some point. I have no idea when that will be. Every time, which has only been in 2 occasions, they've, sort of felt like they wanted to do that. Some information came to them that made them think, well, that's not so wise. It could put us in, legal jeopardy or just put us in really bad standing within our community, whatever it may be. So I don't know. It might be until the case is over, the trial is over, that they actually speak out. It might be before then. I really don't know. But Anyway, this person, Kim, also comments in live chats and on videos is 3434 JJJ. So I noticed just the other day, she commented on one of my videos. They're always very extreme, kind of threatening comments. And she's commented a lot in videos over time, particularly since I started talking about these two guys that I become friends with from University of Idaho. So J Lord is just mentioning that this person was going to be on a different YouTube channel tonight. She canceled. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just not good that people do that. It's just not good. Hey, Brian Hoffman, great to see you. How are you doing? You guys are so funny. I'm trying to get down to your comments that are closer to current time. Gosh, you guys are getting into very scientific discussions of DNA here. Go you, seriously. Yes, Tony says, Washington State University, Kim has as much credibility as Banfield. That's my sentiments exactly, friend. J. Lord points out that her story and facts change dramatically and constantly. You know, on I think it was the channel T-Rev recently I was listening to, she actually mentioned me when she was talking with this channel, me. She said, "What's the obsession?" That's basically me. She was talking to some guy who comes on T-Rev. I think his name is like Detective John or something. And Detective John, I could tell what he was doing from, behavioral analysis perspective. He was asking her questions. He was extremely polite. He was not a jerk at all. He wasn't like pompous about the discussion they had had or the conclusion he had come to after, but he was trying to get her to tell her story. So that's one of the indicators of truth telling, when somebody is telling you about something and they can tell you a story and they can tell you that story again and they can tell you that story again, and the story remains consistent over time, you know that they're telling a story, or there's a very high probability that they're telling a story that actually happened, that they're telling from recollection. If somebody is telling you that they know something and you ask the right questions that prompts them to tell their story and they have no story to tell, that is a strong indicator of deception. So Detective John used this exact technique with Kim, and basically, no matter what he asked her in this very skilled, nuanced way of trying to get her to tell a coherent story, no story could be told because, in my opinion, she has no story to tell. You see? Oh, gosh. People, I guess, are always going to do that. I don't know. Thank you, Jody. It's cool. Yes, everyone, please hit the like. That's all we ask when you come and hang out or watch the replay. Really appreciate it. Helps the channel and helps to get word out that we are chatting so more people can join us. Yeah, Tony, I know she needs, I have a little bit of I believe like a psychological profile on her. It's very much like the Megan and the Kylie Rodney case. Some people actually think they could be the same people. I think it's possible. I'm not even going to give it enough attention to do a voice analysis or anything like that. Certain channels, for whatever reason, are standing by her insofar as saying, "Oh, we vetted her." The question I have is, what does vetted mean to you? Because, for example, with the two guys that I talked to at University of Idaho, they have been vetted, meaning that their identification has been confirmed. I've, voice chatted with them many, many times. So even before that, we confirmed that they were who they claimed to be by other means. Do I normally vet people on this channel? No, because I don't normally go that route. I normally don't have any need to. But if I was going to be telling a story on behalf of a couple people that I don't know on my channel, where I'm asking people to trust what I'm saying, I'm certainly going to make sure that they are who they tell me they are, and they are who I'm telling you I know them to be. You see what I mean? So when people say, "Oh, I vetted them," I want to know what vetted means to you. That's like the question I always have. Hey, Mike Applegate, how are you doing? Yes, I feel you on that. I don't know if I want to pin it just because of YouTube, a couple words they won't like, but yeah. Brian Hoffman, what's going on? You're stuck on the DNA, I see. I'm trying to catch that DNA conversation, but it's too complicated for me to jump into seeing what's going on in chat. Oh boy. Would love to see the toxicology reports. I would like to see those too. I just think, well, I don't know. So what, Lulu Love, what do you think would be most interesting about the toxicology reports? Why is that specifically on your mind? What do you think that we'd be able to tell from the toxicology reports that we do not already know? Oh, yes, I saw this, Tony. She sent T-Rev a confidential email and they read it out loud. That was so funny. That was super disturbing. And then what is the guy, Detective John? And then he repeated, and I'm not going to repeat on here. It was very graphic. See, this is the problem. This person, Kim, is claiming, is claiming that she knows very graphic details about the state that the victims were found in. It's nothing I would even ever say on this channel. I don't even want to go down that road. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Jody. Thank you, dear. Brian Hoffman, I'm not doing well in my question. Brian, what is your question? Okay. Brian says, in the PCA, they word it like at least 98.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. I think that's standard wording, my friend. I'm not going to look it up right now because I have to get going pretty soon. It can be a very long live stream, but I will look into that for you. I'll email you. I think that's standard wording, isn't it? They reworded it expected. Okay. So what would the standard wording be? I have some research for you. Here's your assignment. What would the standard wording be in a DNA report when you're doing genetic comparisons like that? I'm sure that there's standard wording in such a report. In these reports, there's always a template. There's always a boilerplate for the way we word things. So there is not any ambiguity or inconsistency or misunderstanding because these are very important statements that people are making. So I'm sure that there's standard wording. I don't know everything, so I don't know what that is, but I want you to find that out, Brian. What would the standard wording be if the word expected should not be there? Riddler says, put your DNA on the thumbs up. Smashing the thumbs up benefits all of us. Oh, thank you, Riddler. And as Brian says, that was a great transition. Very, very witty. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what we're amen into, but amen. Oh, yes. I think you're talking. I gotcha. Talking about the vetting thing. Yes. Okay. So Tony says, yes, they vetted her. She has kids at WSU. LOL. The rest is lies to me. Yeah. I mean, and even so, if you vetted a person to the point where you were able to determine where their children go to school, certainly you would need to know more about them as well, because there has to be bridging piece of information between person presents themselves to be XYZ, and yes, they have children ABC. So what is that bridging piece of information that they found that allows them to know that she has children at WSU? Perhaps that would be an indicator that they were getting close to vetting her. But it's nonsensical to me. It's nonsensical. Would love to hear your take. Are you talking about me, Brian? Are you talking about the DNA thing? I think you sent me an email earlier. Is that what it's about? Because I just saw it come through. I didn't have a chance to read it. Michelle asked, Kelly, are you going to Idaho in June for the preliminary? Well, you know, I would absolutely love to, but it is literally the day I thought about it. It is literally the day after, I think, I teach at a place, well, I'm teaching work at a place that follows a school year calendar right now for a large part. Then I have a couple weeks off. I didn't do things through some anyway. So it falls right after the day when the busy part of the school year portion of my job ends for me. It would be a little bit super tight, but man, I would love to. Is anybody here going out to Idaho for that? So Jeannie says that they are stating it clearly, I think, you know, in the report about the DNA. I don't know where this came from, but I just like this comment. Bo says, I wasn't criticizing anybody about a child knowing it is illegal to be stuck in an intersection. Bryan knew it was illegal. He is a manipulating narcissist. Yes, a sweet one. Absolutely. Hey, Sarah T, how are you doing? Welcome. Nice to see you. Hey, Joseph Rapp, how are you doing? Welcome. Nice to see you. I don't understand how this is too complex a mixture to differentiate. You're saying that the DNA sample that they have from him is mixed with other DNA. I mean, I'm not sure. We're going to have to talk, I think, offline about this because I'm a little confused, sweetie. Let's see. Midwest Girl says, you can vet a person, maybe who they are as a person and where they live, but don't tell me you have vetted someone with the information or story they are giving because they were not at the crime. Clap, 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 clap. Yes, hallelujah. And that person at various points, you know, claimed, oh, yes, I was there. And it's just, I don't want to like, you know, totally dog on this person because I think when people do things like this, I've seen it since I've had this channel a few times over a couple of years where people really, you know, go from YouTube channel to YouTube channel and they say they have this information, but it's not really true. And it's like, gosh, can you imagine doing that? People do that for a reason. And it's to fill some kind of void that's a really like sad place, in my opinion. So I don't want to like beat this person down who's already doing something that to me indicates they're already like in a super bad place. But, you know, something that I do know is some of the information that this person did try to put out there, claiming it to be the truth, hurt Ethan's family like immensely. Like I want to just cry just thinking about it. And like, it's not okay. It's not okay to do that. I mean, to think that of the way these kids were murdered and what their families are feeling, and then to, for whatever self-serving reason somebody chooses to do so, to go on YouTube and to insist that these extremely horrible, gruesome, and defamatory things are the truth for their children. I mean, guys, it's just disgusting. It's just, ugh. But there's Suspicious. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? It's so wonderful to see you. I was just saying, Suspicious, that this person, I didn't want to get too much into it, but very much reminds me of a Megan, you know, our Megan. Who is Kim like? Kim is like Megan. Oh, gosh. Susan A says, I fear for the people who be going to Moscow if there is a prelim. So why is that? Why do you fear for them? I can think of a couple reasons. Kim is a Karen. My poor mom, her name is Karen. She's like, I hate this Karen thing. Oh, That's so funny, Ara. Ara says, you and I both sighed out loud when you said Megan. Yes, Ara says Fish and I have, oh God, Megan came onto the channel, Megan came onto the channel one time, and, you know, I had her come up with Sis Vicious and Ara, and guys, it was a long night. Holy cow, we never do that again. Oh, she came up on your panel last night, more size, who Megan Cole did. Oh. See, she's not so, she's like harmless, but she just, I don't know. Susan A says, Brian, I think she's gotten in her head that she's responsible for telling people the area might be dangerous. If you're talking about this Kim person, I think it's a little more than that personally, but yeah. Let's see. Ara, I'll text you. I don't want to say the channel's names on here. And Midge Elkins says, I don't know who Megan is. Megan is this person when the Kylie Rodney case was going on, claimed to have all of this inside information. In fact, what's interesting, I wasn't going to mention this, but now I am. This Kim person and Megan both apparently had children, a son and a daughter, who by my comparison are basically exactly the same age. I don't know. Yeah, I will. I'll text you. Here, I'll just text you right now. Wait, it'll take me too long. Let's see, but I'll do it in a minute. So let's see, what else was there too? Let's see here. I got something for you. Oh, come on now. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Give me just one second here. All right. Oops. Weird. Wait a minute. Let me get the transcript. Oops. Let's see. I don't know if I can find it. Yeah, here. I'm not going to waste any time finding it. I'll bring this up the next time. Don't want to go too crazy trying to find something that I'm not able to find. Let's see. All right. So does anyone want to come up and panel, say anything briefly? I'm not going to be on for too much longer because I got to get up early in the morning and go to work. But if you do want to come up and say anything, I'm just going to put the link to chat the link to the panel in the chat, and you can come up for a moment or two, say what you got to say, and then be gone with yourself. Brian Hoffman, I'm going to read your email later, and I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're going crazy about here, but I will answer your question if I can. Yeah, my mind has really been on the Murdaugh case. I've been working on a Murdaugh video. I have so many Murdaugh videos that I just have to finish up and get out there. I hope you guys are still interested in all things Murdaugh, because Really? Wow. That's where my brain has been. But that case is so freaking crazy. Man, we've been looking into the Gloria Satterfield and everything that is an extension of that. And it is just insane. Ara's here. That's right. Ara's going to come up. Let me bring her up. Whoops. Hey, my girl. How are you doing, Ara?
Hi, Miss Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. What's on your mind?
I'm so glad you went live today. I know a lot of people feel the same way. We miss you.
Oh, I miss you guys too.
Well, okay. First of all, Letitia, everybody saw the verdict today, right?
2 life sentences without parole.
I know everybody's celebrating.
Woohoo! Yeah, we did some claps in the beginning. That's right.
Okay, I'm sorry. But okay, so with I haven't been keeping up with Bryan just as much because of the same reason. There's a lot of other things going on, but this Kim person. Okay, no. First of all, is this video of Bryan getting stopped that just came out recently, right?
Yes.
Okay, so slowly we're seeing how many traffic stops now?
3 that I know of.
And so
we have a body cam for 2.
Like, how many times was this man pulled over? Like, was he doing what was he doing this for? Like, because I'm sorry, that's a weird reason to get pulled over because he's blocking an intersection.
Well, I think I can kind of understand what happened because I was thinking about, because I do it all the time. Like, the light is still green. Like, it's not really, you don't have like the clear to make your left turn yet. So you creep out into the intersection. Like, my son, he's 14 right now. So of course he thinks he knows how to drive. He's like, Mom, stop creeping in the intersection. You're far enough. You know, I'm like, no, I'm gotta shoot the gap here. Come on. We got to make that turn. You're gonna be late for school, you know? Yeah. So, and then, you know, I think the light turned red at the point where he could make his left turn. Happens to me all the time. He just happened to get pulled over for it.
But is that
validation boy?
That's not common. I mean, well, at least in Texas, people don't get. I mean, I understand it's a law, but that doesn't really happen. It feels like a bogus traffic stop.
Right? No, I think it does to me too. And Jay Lord said, "Block the box." Yes, that's exactly what they call it. Block the box. You know, in New York, I do not think you would get pulled over for that. Or, my God, knock on wood, I do it like every day, all the time. Have not gotten pulled over for it. Don't know anyone who has. In New York City, yes, you will absolutely get pulled over for that. But usually you can't even make a left turn.
Right.
But in the rare occasions you can make a left turn, you absolutely cannot do that. But there's clear signage stating you cannot do that.
Right.
But I think I know what you're going at here, that they were like pulling him over because they were looking at him, right?
Well, this traffic stop was before the murders, correct?
Yes, this was about a month before the murders. That's right. Yeah.
So that, I guess that wouldn't make sense unless he was already doing some stuff. They were already looking at him for other reasons that right now we don't know. Because remember, we've had this conversation that something like this doesn't just, I feel like this escalated, you know, the way he murdered all those people in one night.
Yeah.
And it had to escalate to that.
Right. It's like you don't just, you know, go from never committing a crime all of a sudden to a quadruple homicide.
Exactly. So it makes me just wonder, like, what other things but do police think he's involved in? But someone in your chat said something about the out-of-state plates, so that would make sense, him popping out.
That's right. I noticed that. Yeah. I mean, out-of-state plates is always a thing, right? That's what, you know, you always are more likely to get pulled over with out-of-state plates. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing. But then again, he is at, you know, a university. So you would imagine that in a university, there are going to be those out-of-state plates, but it is a state university, meaning most of the student population is going to be from that state. And Pennsylvania is a, you know, fuck yard away from Washington State, you know? So
that's true.
Yeah.
And you know that side of the United States better than I do. So, I mean, those universities are how people work over there. Over here, it's a little bit more laxed, but then again, he was driving around that university that he did not belong in. And was he ever stopped there for any reason inside the town?
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know. I just want to read one comment here. Susan, or wait, who was it? Wait, wait a minute. There was a couple good ones, but I don't know where it went. Been law for a long time, I guess. Where there's not very many cars for the murders. I don't know. I'm just gonna read a couple of them because I don't know which one I was looking at. So Midwest Girl says, remember this traffic stop was before the murders, and I do believe she said she was like right behind him. Yeah, that's why it kind of sounded like, anyway, that's right. She was right behind him when he was doing that. And then I think the other one I wanted to read was somebody saying, I think it was Susan A saying, you know, if you're trying to make a left turn and the light turns red and you've got a cop right behind you, you're getting stopped. Yes, I totally agree with that. I think that it does make sense. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Giggle says blocking an intersection and running a red are valid reasons for ticketing, not bogus. Yes, I do agree with that too. And again, this is one of these things where we didn't see exactly what happened. So we only have to go on what they said. So I do in many ways believe that here, I'm going to put up a quick poll here. I do think that it's certainly possible that he committed a crime before. I mean, for the love of God, like, Ara was just saying, I mean, wow, to go from, being a law abiding citizen other than your heroin addiction. And I don't know what else he did, but I mean, as far as never committing a violent crime before, that is abiding a citizen. That is really hard to take in. Possible? Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I do think it is also possible that he had committed crimes before. Good night, Susan. It was wonderful having you here. Come back anytime, my friend. So I'm going to make a poll. Do you think?
And maybe I should have not used the word bogus. I guess I said that because here, where I live, people do illegal things like that in front of cops, and people don't get stopped as often for little things like that. So I said bogus, but it doesn't mean that like the law is. I don't think the law is important or whatever. I just don't want to come off like that either. But
yeah, are you near Boston?
Sorry,
where are you located?
I'm in Texas.
Oh my God, I think you're in Boston. Oh my God, did you move recently? Have you always been in Texas?
I've lived in the same place
God.
for 9 years.
I'm so sorry. I had you pegged in the wrong. I like all the way across the world. Okay, cool. I'm sorry about that. Well, you in DC primetime, Texas. I'm sorry. There's been some terrible things happening in Texas recently. I'm very sorry for y'all.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I just learned about this family in Texas called the Bass family from Fort Worth, Texas. I had no idea who they were, but apparently I need to do something. I'm probably going to do like a video about it or something because they're like, I don't know, they're like $1 billion family and there's like trafficking involved. And I don't know. It's a crazy thing I'm about to do research on.
Oh, wow. Well, I also heard about another thing in Texas. This is so sad, guys, where a drunk driver hit a car full of people, and there was a bride and a groom and two people driving the bride and the groom, and the bride died. They found her in her wedding dress. She had passed away, and the groom is like in a coma. It's probably I don't know why I'm telling you about this. I just heard about this on Fit News, and it was just so freaking sad, and it was gut-wrenching all around. Like it was a young woman who was drunk. She was driving, obviously, and she hit them, and she's of course in jail now, and she just keeps telling, officers in the jail that she wants to die. She wants to kill her. So it's just like such a tragic thing. Please, please do not drink and drive or do whatever you do and drive. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. We all know it, but it's good to remind yourself if ever you're in a situation sometime in the near future where you've had a couple drinks and you're thinking about it, remember this conversation right here and just don't do it.
Well,
it's not
you
worth
know what?
it.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I'm Stephanie Melgoza. You remember that one? She was very drunk, like 3 times over the legal limit. And I'll put a link to the NY Post here if anybody wants to check it out later. But she was intoxicated 3 times over the legal limit. She killed 2 people, and she was laughing in the body cam footage when the officers were trying to talk to her and figure out what happened. She was laughing.
My God.
She was drunk. She was just all over the place. And then she went to the hospital, and in the body cam there, the officer was saying, "Hey, do you understand that you just killed 2 people?" And then she's like, "Well, okay, but does that mean that I'm not going to go to school on Monday?" He said, "You're going to go to jail." He's like, "So then Tuesday I'm going to go to school?" Like it was.
Was she like that drunk, or was she perhaps like have special needs? Or I mean, that's crazy.
That's a great question, but either way, she was 3 times over. I don't.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe a little bit of both, kind of.
Yeah.
But I say that because you just said that this person that killed the people, the married couple, at least she was crying. She felt remorse. This person did not, and that's scary.
Yeah. No, that's true. God, that is scary, man. Oh man, here I'm jumping topics a little here because I want to read this comics. This is something that I noticed. It's kind of interesting. Accused Bryan Kohberger of massacring the 4 college students at the University of Idaho changed his car registration just days after the horrible event. So that's really interesting point, Riddler. I'm glad that you brought that up because we did know that he changed his car registration from Pennsylvania to Washington, the state of Washington, just a few days after the murders. Now we do know from seeing that body cam footage, she says that your registration expires in November of 22. So that's just kind of interesting. Just another piece of information.
Okay.
So, that's just, like I assumed like, oh, of course he's changing his registration because he's trying to, confuse things, obfuscate things. He's trying to hide, but his registration was running up. I mean, what events that about happen as the result of a guilty consciousness, or would they have happened anyway as a normal course of life? You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
He was very calculating. I will tell. I mean, all his actions show he was planning to get away with this.
Yes, absolutely.
Preparing. But I just, in this day and age, you really can't at this point with Big Brother around. That's why I have questions about how other people get away with stuff. When we live in 2023, 2022. I mean, come on. There are receipts to things. There are surveillance videos.
Absolutely. Yes.
Everything. So come on, people.
Yeah, totally. Joseph Rapp coming a little late. This is silly. The voices are not even close to the same person. That was so long ago, but you must have just been watching it. Validation Boy, I know that you're here now. You missed the voice comparison, kind of. And Validation Boy, I just have to say, honey, I don't think that cop pulled him over to flirt with him. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's a lot of eligible, young, good-looking bachelors at any university. He ain't one of them. That's all I got to say about that.
And I mean, the lady knows she has a body cam.
Right. I didn't get the flirting vibe at all.
No.
Hey, Nancy MVP, how are you doing? Oh, this is a tough crowd. I don't know what else was said that you said, but welcome, glad you're here.
It's a good chat. It's a good chat, I think.
Good chat, yeah. Thank you, Riddler. This is what I was trying to research this after she asked it, like while we're chatting too. So if I sounded distracted for a moment, but Riddler had the answer. She'll just ask the chat, of course.
Okay.
Riddler says Kohberger had Pennsylvania license plates on a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra. He was driving when he was stopped on August 21st for failing to wear a seatbelt while at the intersection. So yes, so we know he was stopped on August 21st. He was stopped in this time for which the body cam footage was just released, which all we know is it's about a month before the murders. Is there a specific date? So let's say it's on October of 2022. And then we know he was pulled over twice after the murders were committed while basically en route back to Pennsylvania. So man, you're right, that's a lot of getting pulled over.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's something to think about, especially if you consider that he may have committed other crimes in the past and he already was a person of interest for something else. Right. Obviously, when he was pulled over after the murders, they were already looking at him, right? And that's why they pulled him over, and they just gave him some excuse for that because he was too close to the semi or something.
Right. Yeah. Yep. For the one that and then his dad is saying, right, when he gets pulled over for that ticket, we were just pulled over back in Washington State for I don't even know what,
Correct.
So yeah,
that's a little bit too much coincidence for me.
It is a lot of coincidence. It's a very lot of coincidence. So I don't know. Well, I'm going to get wrapping up soon, sweetie, because I've got to get up early tomorrow for work. But are there any other points or you want to make before we get off, or questions you want to put out there? Or?
That's it. I was a good combo with you.
What are you working on your channel? So everybody, if you don't know Ara has a channel. She is awesome. I would definitely go subscribe and check it out. She has great chats, great videos. She does a lot of work on the Kylie Rodney case still, because we need people still out there fighting for justice for Kylie. And I need to follow up with you on some points with that. I will not forget. I'm just late on everything.
You're okay.
But everyone go check out Ara's channel. And what do you have to say, Ara, in closing?
Well, last night, it was an interesting live last night. I just kind of went live randomly. And then our friend MC came up and Ryan Upchurch at the same time. And If you
Oh,
guys
Ryan
are-
was on your channel?
Yeah, it was
wow.
quite a live. So if you guys are
That-
interested
Oh
to see
yeah,
how that went
definitely.
down,
I haven't
check
seen
it
Ryan
out.
Upchurch in a long time. Wow. What was the
Mhm.
topic?
Well, it was the party, and he was asking questions to Megan. That was the first time they
Okay.
have spoken, so it was interesting. He got to ask Megan some
Wow.
questions.
You had a platform for a pretty like happening situation there. That's awesome.
I don't know. It was crazy, man. So we'll see what happens from that,
Wow.
but
Wow.
but it was great chatting you with Miss Kelly. We miss you, so please come back to us.
Yeah, I miss you too. I miss you too. I will be. I think my super crazy psycho season, I hope, is over. So I'm hoping to be back more, and I hope you guys are interested in all of the crazy stuff that stems from the Murdaugh case, because I have several videos coming out, and I have the part 2 and 3 of the video that I put out about the Idaho 4 case with the information from the 2 fraternity friends from University of Idaho. I always have to be very careful when I start talking about them, what I say. So hopefully it's stuff that you're interested in and things that will give us some information that will help us understand what is going on with these crimes, with these people, in these minds, and in this world just a little bit more.
To be honest, you're how I keep up with all of that, honestly, because it's hard with all the new stuff. You kind of put it together well.
Thank you. Hey, I appreciate that, because freaking man, it is a latte.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna jot down here. Love you,
awesome.
girl.
I'm gonna check out your live stream from last night. That sounds really interesting. Thank you for letting us know about that.
Yes, ma'am. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, talk to you
Bye.
soon, sweetheart. Bye. Aw. Oh man, don't forget, ladies, Enon or Ein, however you say his name, is still single. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. I think that we are all better off for you reminding us of that. No. Oh my goodness. All right. So yes, everybody, I'm going to be signing off, but everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, moderators, members, subscribers, people who are just coming to check it out. Hope you like it and choose to subscribe. Everybody, please click like on the way out. Let me know what you think of this live stream. What else do you want to know about? What else do you want to hear? We are here to talk about what y'all want to talk about. And just thank you for everything you contribute. You all mean a lot to me and the channel. So peace out. I'm just going to leave this little outro. If you have some last chatty messages to pop up there, if you're talking with each other. And I hope to see you again super soon.
There are more answers than you know.
Each had multiple stab wounds. Some had defensive wounds, showing they fought with the attacker. And there was no sexual assault. County Coroner Kathy Mabbutt is describing the murders as personal.
Let's see. Okay, so I just wanted to. Whoop. Okay, very good. McCurtis J, I will definitely check your email and email you back. Anybody else who has emailed me, I'm so sorry that I listen. I'm just always behind on my channel emails. I think I'm gonna have to create a new address. I get so much email, old stuff, new stuff, junk stuff, good stuff. Things from you are always good emails that I do want to respond to. So if anyone has sent me an email I have not responded, please, please, please do not take it personally, and I will try to respond to y'all this week. And again, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Justice A through Z, I just saw you say something up there. I didn't know you were here, but it's always great to see you, my friend. I hope that you're doing well. And everyone, please be safe. Can't wait to see you again soon. Thank you for your support. Please do hit the like on your way out, and I'll see you soon.